Hey everybody, I am Josh Skinner for withjosh.com, and with me is psychotherapist Stacy Kaiser. Stacy, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for inviting me into your house.
I thought I wanted you to come. I want everyone to see it.
I love that we can just be casual and just kind of figure things out. And I'm not intimidated. I was a little worried that maybe I'd be intimidated because I've seen you on Diet Tribe, a Celebrity Fit Club, Kathy Griffin's My Life on the D-List, the Today Show. I was reading your bio, and you've actually had over 100 television appearances in the past year.
I know, I've been busy, and you know what? I'm not intimidating.
I know you're not.
There's nothing intimidating about me.
In the first 5 minutes, I started spilling like my whole life story to you. You're very easy to talk to.
I think that's how it all started. I think I have like "talk to me" written on my forehead or something.
Well, let's start at the very beginning. Now, what exactly is psychotherapy?
Psychotherapy, in my book, is that people come because something's not right in their life, and they need somebody to help them figure it out. So whether it's exploring their past or exploring their present or exploring their future, it's somebody who has tools and techniques to help you get where you're trying to go.
Now, why did you want to become a psychotherapist?
You know what? I've always loved helping people. I mean, literally, when I was a kid, I was always trying to give people advice and trying to listen to people's problems. It's just something that is my passion, and so I've always wanted to do it.
This is your first book, Stacy. Why this title? Why this subject matter?
You know, I've been a therapist for 20 years. And
she's still only 29.
And I'm only doing that.
Yeah.
And I pretty much heard myself telling people the same things over and over in my office. And it might be on about different topics, but it was similar themes. And it occurred to me that, you know, we all become adults, but nobody ever hands us a manual when we leave our homes. You know, you turn 18 or 20 or whatever it is that you go, you know, out of the nest. Nobody says, here's the book to be happy and successful. Right. And so I made that book. I mean, that's literally what this is. It's the things that I think it takes for any adult to be successful and happy.
It says, dynamic communicators always try for a compromise. And the whole chapter was about communication. What do you mean by that?
Well, I always say that a real grown-up is a good communicator. And a good communicator doesn't always have to have it their way.
Right.
Ultimately, you and I are going to get along better if we both walk away happy. And a compromise makes that.
Well, obviously, you know, everyone always says communication is key, but don't you think the way that you communicate has kind of been altered or shaped by how you grew up?
Absolutely. I talk a lot in my book about baggage. And
Yes.
what baggage is what you bring with you, wherever it is that you have come from. It's not just your childhood, but it's relationships you've been in, jobs you've had, and it does influence who you are. And if you're not aware of that, then you're going to have conversations with people and interactions, and they're not going to go well, and you're not going to know why. And so I really talk to people about understanding where you came from a little bit, so that you know how it shapes who you are.
I know, but say I have internal baggage, I wear this external baggage. Like for me personally, my parents are very religious, and I grew up, my father's a minister. Obviously, when I make choices today, that foundation is still there. But how do you remove parts, not just that, or how do you remove other parts of your life where you're like, okay, obviously that shapes me, but that doesn't define me? Like, how do you...
Okay, so awareness is a big part, but then you have to decide how deep it is. So here's what I can tell you. People who are raised, let's say, in a strict upbringing, which, assuming that you had a minister as a father, that's probably the case.
Yeah.
They usually tend to go one of two ways. I know this because I'm a shrink.
Okay.
They usually tend to either rebel against that and become sort of these opposing people compared to what their parents were, or they end up molding to it. And so the first question you want to ask yourself, and this could be for anyone, where do you fit in? You know, did you pick one of those extremes? And maybe you did, but maybe you were 16. Maybe you don't do that anymore. And so it's starting to know how much you're like what you were raised and how much you're not. And then the second thing is to literally go through and say, all right, there were some good things that I got from my parents.
Absolutely.
Like my parents taught me how to manage money, or how to give really nice presents at the holidays. I mean,
or
whatever
never give up, or you know,
whatever it is.
Keep moving forward.
So it's about literally identifying those things and keeping them, and then saying to yourself, but you know what? Here's ways I do not want to be like my parents, and coming up with that list. Same thing with relationships. You're dating someone, it ends. You want to look at, here's what was good in that relationship that I want to keep for the next one, and here's what was horrible, and I will never date anyone like this again.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because right now I want to talk to our viewers about recycled feelings. Okay. Can you touch upon that for a second?
Yes.
Amazing.
I talk in my book about a concept called recycled feelings. And what recycled feelings are feelings that you had in the old relationship that you've brought to the new ones, to the new relationship. Recycling when it comes to like paper goods, that's good. Recycling when it comes to relationships, that's bad. So if you and I are dating,
right,
which we're not, but let's say we were.
Hello. Your kind of place.
This is our date.
Yeah, okay.
If you and I were dating and you were always looking at other women and I thought you were cheating on me, and so that upset me. Now I go and meet someone else. And if he even looks the other way at, a flight attendant, do I have this reaction of he's cheating, he's looking at other girls because
he doesn't want me because
this is what happened before, or is he really doing it? And so it's really important to know if I'm judging you based on what happened in an old relationship. That's recycled feelings.
Yeah, but how do you get rid of recycled feelings? Like, how do you move forward?
You have to start to spot them.
Okay.
I mean, everybody has them. So you have to start to say, you know what? My gosh, every time I go to a concert, I'm reminded of this other relationship. I have to fix that. Every time, my boyfriend or girlfriend looks at someone else, I think about my old relationship. I have to fix that. It's really literally about becoming aware of it first and then concentrating on taking it away.
Let's talk about the quiz.
Okay.
At the very beginning of Stacy's book, you take a quiz about 5 pages long, and you can get 0 to 270 points. Now 270 means you're a full-fledged adult, right? But it's impossible to get 270.
I only know one person that got 270.
Were they lying?
I think you lied.
Okay. Okay, so I like to think that I'm mature and I've got my crap together, but I got a 171.
Yeah.
And it was the most honest that I could be. I wanted this book to help me. And I was telling my friends that I know that, 4 years ago, I probably would have had a higher score. But now when I realistically look at my life and looked at the questions and looked at your book, I was like, no, this is where I'm at today.
Right, because you're probably more honest with yourself
Yeah.
than you were. You take a closer look. The people that I know that are scoring really high are either truly incredibly off the charts successful or in denial.
Okay.
So just so you know, most people that I talk to score somewhere between, I'm going to say 170 and 240.
Okay.
And that's not a bad range.
But what does that mean about me, though?
That's what I tell you. So the test is about 10 different areas in this book that have to do with things like career, relationships, communication skills, baggage. And so I'm just going to ask you this, and then we'll put you on the spot for this.
I'm an open book.
People tend to either lose points in all 10 categories, or they can say, nope, there was like these 2 areas that I stink at. My guess is if you're feeling successful in a lot of ways, there's probably 1 or 2 or 3 areas out of the 10 where you just, every question did not do well. Is that?
Yeah, financially,
okay.
It really bothered me. Parts of communication and baggage.
Okay. So
yeah, all positive areas of my life. Thank you.
Well, no, but here's what I think is helpful about my book is if you didn't know that before, you know it now. Maybe you did. And you can read those 3 chapters, read the stuff on baggage, communication, and finances, and work on your score and retake the quiz.
Right.
And see if you do better. And everybody that I know that has been doing that, even a month later, their score is going up a little bit. So that's what I'd want to see for you, is that you were doing the work. And the other thing that my book does that maybe you can do is because you did well in 7 of the other areas, then you can use those 7 areas to improve the 3 that you're weak in.
Have you taken your test?
I have.
What's your score?
I'm not telling people.
Oh,
you know
really?
why?
Okay.
You know why? Because I wrote this book.
Okay.
And by the way, I did not get a perfect score.
Okay.
I will tell you that, but I am in that range
Okay.
that I gave you.
Well.
And I'm not telling people because it's making people not comfortable sharing with me. The couple people that I started to tell, they didn't want to share with me. But I will tell you this. For me, where I lost points were based on my baggage. Because I was a fat kid, I have appearance issues.
I love the chapter on image.
Oh, thank you.
I want everyone to read this book. It's just, and how you cope with your image, and it's just, I'm sorry that I interrupted you.
No, I love it. And you know what? I'm glad you love it because that's the chapter that I worked the hardest on, probably, because that was the part of me that I had to work the hardest on. And literally every person I meet has image issues in some way. They either think they're too tall, too short, too fat, too thin, don't like their teeth, don't like their hair. There's always something, and it can get in the way.